The Blue Oyster Cult. The Symbol Remains, released October the 9th, 2020. Hello everyone and welcome. It feels like I've been reviewing this album forever, as I've done 2 previous videos on this record. But the full album is here and it was worth the wait. It's an absolute beauty and I shall proceed to tell you why. The first 3 tracks, That Was Me, Box in My Head and Tainted Blood, I've covered in other videos. The link is in the description. So on to track 4, Nightmare Epiphany. I'd heard a version of this done by Buck a few years back, and to me it would have fitted in perfectly on his solo album. It's a story that a friend of the band, Mr. Stephen King, would be very proud of. A young girl has an horrific nightmare about a demonic world where a young man is being tortured. She tries to rescue him, but to no avail. Months later, she meets him in the real world. Or is it? I remember, he told her then, I'll never forget the dream of chains. You tried to help me, tried to descend. You offered me something beside my pain. And now I've found you in this concrete world that only fools believe exists. See, I knew that you belonged to me in my nightmare Epiphany. What makes the song even more spooky and surreal is the jaunty rhythm the band laid down. And then Buck throws in one of those old Dwayne Eddy riffs that he loves so much. Buck layers the song, of course, with those wonderful harmonies that he does so well. The song also gives plenty of space for great guitar interplay from Richie Castellano and Buck Dharma. Next up, Edge of the World. For me, this is already one of my favourite BOC tracks. It's epic, cinematic rock and roll. Eric Bloom taking that lead vocal. Meet me at the edge of the world to watch it all burn. Forget what you learned. Meet me at the edge of the world to watch it all burn. You'll never return. It's a powerful, slow burner in the vein of Veteran of the Psychic Wars, with choruses, and this is probably heresy, but the choruses sound like U2. But fear not, it all works beautifully. Eric, I want to follow you down the rabbit hole to the edge of the world and never return. 2 minutes 32 seconds into the chorus, meet me at the edge of the world. Someone, Eric I believe, because it sounds very much like Mr. Bloom, whoops in the background, and you know these boys are back with a bang and loving every single minute. 3 minutes 34 seconds and we are left with just piano and some gorgeous harmonies. How many metal stroke heavy rock bands can vocalize like this? More brilliant guitar playing. I'm searching for my air guitar as we speak, as the song builds and builds to a beautiful climax. The Machine. This track is a driving rocker and probably could fit in on many hard rock albums that we've heard over the years. But on this, the boys, because of their great dynamics, superb playing, and again, I'm sorry if I repeat myself, those wonderful harmonies, they take it to another level. The song is about how we've fallen in love with our machines, our computers, our PCs, our phones. Now we are living the dream, eyes never leaving the screen, floating away in a stream to the machine. Next up, Train True, Lenny's song. Well, Buck finally did get a rock and roll song on a Blue Oyster Cult album, complete with harmonica. It says the track was written by Buck and Zeke Rosier. I'm guessing that's his son, but I'm sure one of you lovely people will tell me who Zeke is. It's a rock and roll song, Jim, but not as we know it. It's about a slightly deranged train steward with lyrics like, feelings are somewhat symptomatic of societal abrasions that can form electric static. He said, son, I don't think you have that much of a brain. I said, you've got to have a brain when you're working for the train. Welcome to the strange universe of the Blue Oyster Cult. It's a fun song and will sound fantastic live. Next up, The Return of Saint Cecilia. It's been a long, long time since the Stalk Forest group sang about little Saint Cecilia, the patron saint of music. The sweet little girl is back, and now she's mad, bad, and dangerous to know. Well, she weren't so little, and she wasn't really nice. We all thought she was a goner, till she was sighted once or twice. Pretty as a picture, but the picture finally cracked. A whole world got dead and buried, and now she's a-crawling back. No dreamy psychedelic bird sounds here, it's another fiery rocker, as the boys revisit their past in the only way they know, complete with some blistering guitar play. This is another track that I believe will become a fan's favourite. Stand and Fight. A great bass line and drums usher in a really heavy, crunchy guitar riff. 3 minutes 6 seconds. Jules Rodino's drums are pushed up way high in the mix, joined by bass and the guitars, and we get a burst of heavy, heavy riffing. It's almost as if the band are saying with this album, we can do anything, and have brought together all the best of the Blue Oyster Cult over the last 50 years and blended it all together. They came from the east, they came from the west, finally turning the tide, and in this place the human race found the will to survive. Stand and fight, it's do or die, a call to arms for you and I. Florida Man. Now, when I first heard this song, I couldn't really hear the lyrics, and I heard the lovely melody and almost southern rock guitar riff, and it seemed just a nice song. But then I started to hear the lyrics, and it's anything but a nice song. Written by Buck Dharma and novelist Jim Shirley, it's a story of when the conquistadors came to the land of America and the area of Florida, and they did a lot of bad things, and a Seminole Indian medicine man put a curse on the land and its inhabitants. Down in the mall, where the boa's cruel, Ted makes love to a concrete wall. Florida Man. His brother Red said his Uncle Ned found Elvis in a loaf of bread. High on meth, there's little Beth. The neighbour's cat is on her breath. Dan dreams he's got wings of fire. He's waking and shaking on a power wire. Don't you laugh, it could be you. The Seminole curse always comes true. You can jeer, but you don't understand that any fragile soul can be a Florida man. It's another eerie, spooky Buck Dharma classic. Right up there with The Last Days of May, Don't Fear the Reaper, and I Love the Night. And so on to track 11, The Alchemist. If you haven't seen the video that the band have made to accompany this track, please check it out. It's on YouTube. It's a classic. And it looks like they hired Baron von Frankenstein's castle just for the shoot. The track is pretty much taken from a H.P. Lovecraft short story called The Alchemist. Anyone not familiar with good old H.P., and if you love horror and weird stories, he's worth looking up big time. I'm not going to spoil the story because it's a classic story by telling it here. It's dark, doomy, menacing and very proggy, with Eric Bloom at his very, very best. 3 minutes 17 seconds into the song, Jules Rodino's drums kick off an absolutely exhilarating midsection, with twin harmonised lead guitars from Buck and Ritchie. Just thinking about this track, I've always loved the way the band have managed to encapsulate stories into their music, into their lyrics. You know, it's like this whole album is like a bunch of perfectly formed short stories. Secret Road. This is another track that I heard a while back from Buck's archives. I thought back then it was an incredible track, but this 2020 version is just an absolute stunner. As the track begins, just listen to the groove the band gets straight into. This is a band at the top of their game. Buck has always made great songs with a slightly poppy edge. He brings in great hooks, great melodies, great harmonies, and I hope that one day he makes another solo record before he hangs up his guitars, because he has so much great material in the archives, and I just hope that he makes another solo record. Secret Road is for me a song about humans' foolishness, how we waste time, or how we lose ourselves in meaningless things and only a few realise what's important in this life. Some people get trapped in the rut and surrender their will. Those people don't make the cut. Let's hope they ate their fill. Some people make it, they learn the trick, they make it to the song, and they rock in the final mix. A secret road. Is that an inner secret road, getting to a higher consciousness, or a physical secret road, a way out of the madness? And you know, with every classic Buck Dharma song, there's a belter of a guitar solo just waiting in the wings. 2 minutes 19 seconds in, here it comes. I'm guessing that it is Buck taking the solo, but listen to the band cooking along behind the lead guitar. That's going to give you so many counterpoints to play off of, and it's going to make you play even better. That's rock and roll chemistry right there. And on to track 13, There's a Crime. For me, this is the weakest track on the album. It's just really a good hard rock workout for the boys. But Jules Rodino and Danny Miranda, Jules on drums, Danny on bass, as usual through the whole album, provide a brilliant rhythmic backbone for the band. And so to the final track, Fight. Set to ticking drums, another great Buck riff and cowbell. It's a song about nothing happening. No blood was spilled, no one was killed. No angry words said that could not be taken back. No one at the helm, everyone was underwhelmed. It wasn't that much of a fight. It wasn't that much of a fight. It wasn't that much of a fight. Last one, turn out the light. Is this the band's way of saying, that's it, we're not going to make any more records? Or is it, as is entirely possible, the boys just having a laugh? Anyway, this is an absolute fabulous record, and so far for me is the album of the year. So listen to it on your feet or on your knees, but the Blue Oyster Cult have come back with a stone cold classic album. So I hope you enjoyed the review. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe to the channel, and any comments on this video, good or bad, please leave in the comment section below. And like I said, thanks for listening, stay safe, stay well,